Good evening, visitors, and welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Sharon Bown, and joining us this evening from the Royal Australian Navy is Commander Greg Swindon. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by visitors to the memorial and by students on behalf of Peninsula Grammar School, Mount Eliza, Victoria. If you are able, would you please stand and join in singing the national anthem? Those requiring a seat, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 Australian men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths and floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Private Albert Edward Beattie. Albert Beattie was born in 1887 in Tumut, New South Wales. Known as Bob, he was one of 14 children born to local farmer William Beattie and his wife Isabella. He received his education at Windowie Public School, where he was a talented student and a keen athlete. On completion of his schooling, Albert studied to become a teacher and was posted to the small town of Wellington in central west New South Wales. He was teaching at the local school there when war broke out in August 1914. Albert Beattie enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force on the 2nd of February 1916, having been previously rejected owing to his eyesight. He was assigned to the 14th Reinforcements of the 20th Battalion and commenced a short period of training in Australia. He embarked for active service from Sydney in August that year, sailing on board the troop ship Wiltshire. Private Beattie arrived in England on the 13th of October and proceeded to camp for additional training. He joined his unit in the front lines of France in late December 1916, just in time to spend a bitterly cold winter in the trenches. Early 1917 was marked by the German strategic withdrawal to the fortified Hindenburg Line. Their retreat was followed by Allied units who seized their opportunity to push the enemy back. In advancing on the Germans, these units were confronted by well-prepared rearguard defences and booby-trapped towns, which resulted in a series of bloody clashes. In March of 1917, the town of Bapaume was captured from the Germans during their retreat. Beattie's unit established billets there and began setting up their headquarters in the local town hall. On the 25th of March, Beattie and several others were left in the town to undertake their administrative duties as the rest of the unit was sent to repulse a German attack at Lagnacourt. Germans had hidden a delayed action mine within the building. As they slept, the mine detonated, causing a powerful explosion which reduced the town hall to rubble. Beattie and several other men were buried alive. Working parties dug for several days to try and remove the debris and recover the survivors. Discovered 2 days later among the rubble of the town hall was the body of Private Albert Beattie. He and his comrades were buried in the local cemetery. At the conclusion of the war, his body was exhumed and reburied at the Canadian Cemetery No. 2 at Neuville-Saint-Var. The Tumut and Adelong Times newspaper later paid tribute to Private Beattie, saying, "The departed hero was well known and highly respected in this district. He was of genial, happy disposition, most unselfish and loved by his comrades. The sincerest sympathy goes out to Mr. and Mrs. Beattie over the severe and sad loss that they have sustained through the death of their brave hero and son." Private Albert Beattie was 30 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right amongst almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Albert Edward Beattie, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozieres or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director and staff, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support of the Memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.